went over the tools and the type of wools that I use, I'm going to show you how to start a basic two-dimensional layout. It's very easy. For this particular craft project, I used a cookie cutter. You can use the cookie cutter either this way and poke into it or draw your outline, or you could just use it the larger way. Draw your outline and start your needling. I pull little pieces of wool, fan them out, and start to put them within the shape. This is in the 2-needle tool right now. But tell you the truth, I rather work with the single needle. I feel that I get more control out of it, and you want to stay within the outline and just poke. You will see the wool coming through, different color wool and hay over here, so I just get my tweezers and pull it up. The important aspect of the wool is that it's very, very forgiving. And again, pull up your piece so you don't damage your mat. I have this little piece that I completed. It has almost no fuzzies, not the way you would think of seeing wool. I glued on the little googly eyes, and I used this little bit of red wool to embellish it. And now you have a beautiful felted decoration for your tree. Or if you have cardstock, you can also make a homemade card with a little bric-a-brac design. So I get my piece of wool and I'm rolling it in my hand to make it thin. And I'm going to see if I could just start poking it in. If you can't let the wool go where it wants, you have to tell it where it has to go, where you want it to go. At this point, I would take my scissor and just cut that there. Very careful of your fingers. My fingers are very close to the needle. And you could fuss, at least I could fuss with this little piece for quite a long time to get it exactly how I want it. Now I'm doing this upside down, so it might not be exactly, but it shows you I'm trying to get a squiggly line, and I think I got it. We'll know that they don't have to be exactly alike. We can only do the best we could do. So I think you get the idea. You just put your different color wool, however you want the design, and you just continue felting to make a little buckle. And as I said, I cut the wool. Okay, this is another technique that you could use. I used a wood template from the craft store. I traced it onto a piece of regular white craft felt, cut it out, and then started to apply the wool. You could see how stiff it becomes. This still needs needling, I would still put extra wool on here, and this you could needle this so it would become absolutely stiff. And you could see that where I needled, where I put extra wool, which I still would put more on, as opposed to just one layer. So you see how floppy that is, and you would make it nice and firm. With this piece, I would mount it onto a piece of cardstock, something that a nice contrasting color, and again, cut it out and put it on a card, and you have a beautiful card. Or you could use the beautiful ribbons that they have out now and just put it like that, and you have a beautiful Christmas card. Okay folks, I just want to mention that you can also buy these little kits that you can order also. It comes complete with your design, transferred onto a little piece of craft felt, and all the felt that you need, plus a needle. And again, this was a very good way for me to start. I've been doing this for about 5 years now, and I started with purchasing kits and just learning how to do it myself, and reading my books and taking workshops. It's very easy. So that's the craft. Okay, here's another design that I did for Christmas. Again, by using the cookie cutter, traced my design onto the craft felt. I completely needle felted this one in just to show you, and I decided to change the bottom and just make the stump over there, and I added the little star. With this, I would take some red felt and start to embellish it. Now with the red felt, let's say we want to make some little balls. Pull a little piece of felt, roll it in your hand, and start to make a little ball. You could get it on your foam and just needle it a little bit. Get it in, and then you just put it on your tree and start to decorate the tree. Say we want to put a little garland on it. Get your wool, roll it in your hands, kind of stretch it as you go. This is a little thick, but you just play with it. Use your fingers a lot. Watch your finger. I said, very, very forgiving. It's a beautiful material to work with. With this, you could also use any little thing you find from the craft store. Little green tree with these beautiful little ribbon stars. So, okay, getting back to our little heart, thought it would be nice to put a little vine around it. So I would just do some kind of a light design on the wool, just so something I could follow a little bit. Get my green felt I want to make this as thin as I could. You can't wet this wool and then needle felt. It will not work. And you see how nice the needle goes into that blanket? And it has texture, so that makes the piece more interesting. And you could continue and put some little flowers. You can even put a little bird. You don't have to make it exact. You're just looking for shape, a suggestion of a bird or a flower. This is not realism. Okay, now this piece is done completely freehand. I didn't draw anything. I did not use any felt inside. So to get all the multicolors, you just have a variety of colors. It's just like painting. You have your colors that you want to use. You pull it out, fan it out, and start felting. I found the same as with the concrete and clay, very hard to go around a round edge. So I kind of wrap it around, and I get a nice covering on that rounded edge. And this has to be turned over as you work, because you work in two sides at once to get a free-form piece. Going to put a different color on here, so you could see that as you pull your wool and fan it out, it becomes transparent, and you could see the colors underneath it. And it's also more natural. And just pull it. So you're really working with your hands and the needle. This one has a big piece of hay in there, so you want to pull that out. You don't want to see an edge, so you put some of another color right on top, overlay it, and continue to needle. Now, when you start to needle, you want to go up and down. Make sure, you see now I'm not even going through the white covering. I'm just going fast enough, and I'm not stabbing it that much. It's just going into the wool about 1/4 of an inch, which is enough to tangle it and start to make it firmer. I also go from the side sometimes, and that works very well also. Want to shape it more, you just start to pull it in. Maybe we want to put a little brown for a little stem. Get the piece that you want. Of course, this could be seen from both ways. You want to just from both sides. And just keep on needling it and manipulating it with your fingers, and you'll get the shape you want, and it will be hard. Now you say, what could you do with such a big leaf, such a big shape? Well, you can make a beautiful pin with it. This technique I made this pin with it and just needled it until it was nice and firm and hard. This is all freehand. I made the flower. It's all one piece. I finished the back off with the fabric, and I did a blanket stitch at the end. Sewed a little pin on it, and it could be used as a beautiful pin. I put some little stones in it. Again, this was the same technique, and this was some leftover pieces I had, and I just made, again, I just put this together. Put some little decorations from the craft store, finished the back with white felt. Well, you wear it on your coat. I think it looks pretty. Okay, this is just a simple demonstration to show you that you can make beads and make a necklace or make a bracelet. You just keep on needling, roll it, get the shape you want. You can make little balls, make a whole lot of little balls out of it, and make them as beads, multicolor. I made this was an embellishment to one of my sculptures. And I just, again, made a little piece of the green leaf. I got some netting, wrapped some pipe cleaner with floral tape, and stuck it all together, and you have a little embellishment. At one point I was making a figure, and I had to learn how to do hands and feet and fingers. So again, you could find all this information. This particular piece needed an armature, so I used cute pipe cleaners. Made the hand out of pipe cleaners and started wrapping the wool around it. And you just needle it tight, and then you get your hand and you attach it to your arm. I've seen women, some women make these as so small, it's unbelievable. So that's just another thing that you could make some items. This is another technique I use by templates. Do a monarch butterfly. All this is done just with your single needle. All of these have a piece of felt in between them, so it's a two-sided thing. And then you would just make the body as a little log and needle these into the body. And if this works out well, we'll do something like this at another time. But templates are a great way to work. You get your template, you draw it out, you start your needle felting. This is another technique that I want to use. I found this beautiful little laser cut piece of wood. Now I would take this to the repro center, have this reproduced and enlarged. I could trace it onto my piece of wool, and then you get the start of a beautiful two-dimensional painting. And that's something else you could use. Now, for our last project, I'm just going to show you an example of a 2D painting that I did for Heightstown. And I used templates and cutouts for this entire project. This is more of a graphic design as opposed to a painting, but you would still proceed to do it the same way. I cut my shapes out. On a piece of felt. This is on a little piece of felt, or I possibly drew this right onto the felt and put the ice cream soda here. You could build up parts of it as high as you want. I added some letters on this where I hand printed it in, and then Time to Dine, I did the lettering. That took quite a long time, and that was very delicate to do. And the lettering was the hardest. But this is a nice complete picture, It's finished on the back, completely finished. The Hightstown Historical Society, they are making a commemoratory quilt for the town of Hightstown, and this will be part of it. And I also did the one for their fire department. This is a much smaller piece, and they wanted this particular embellishment on it to represent the firemen of Hightstown. So I think with these two pieces, we're going to wrap it up today. I hope you enjoyed today's demonstration, and have a nice holiday, and we'll see you again. Thank you.